There's a certain kind of person. Maybe you know one. Maybe you are one. They get the text. Big party Friday. Everyone's going to be there. You have to come. And their stomach just sinks. It's not that they dislike the person who invited them, but the first feeling isn't excitement, it's exhaustion. They're already picturing the sea of faces, the noise, the music, the shouting, the small talk. So, what do? How about this weather? They find themselves in a room full of people, but they've never felt more alone. They stand there, nursing the same drink for an hour, their social battery flashing red, just waiting for the polite moment to leave. But here is the great paradox. That same person who dreads the party is not a hermit. They are not antisocial. In fact, they have this ache, a persistent desire for real connection. They don't want to talk to 20 people for 3 minutes each. They want to talk to one person for 3 hours about what really keeps them up at night. For years, this person has wondered, am I broken? Am I weird? Am I arrogant? What if the answer is no? What if their aversion to parties and their craving for depth are not a contradiction, but a perfect, logical, causal chain? What if their hatred for the superficial is the direct consequence of their capacity for the profound? So, what's really going on? Why does this person hate the very events designed for connection, but crave connection more than anyone? The answer isn't one thing. It's a combination of factors. For some, it's a simple case of physiology. This is the person whose brain is like a highly sensitive microphone. The document we're drawing from describes a trait called sensory processing sensitivity, or SBS, found in about 15 to 20% of the population. These individuals have brains that process everything more deeply. At a party, they're not just hearing music, they're processing its frequency, the bass vibration, and its emotional resonance. They're noticing the subtle facial expression of one person and the tension in the couple in the corner. It's a sensory and emotional minefield. This, as the research notes, is their superpower and their kryptonite. That same deep processing ability that makes them an incredibly attuned, empathetic listener, the very foundation of their craving for deep connection, is what makes the sensory and social chaos of a party a form of cognitive and emotional torture. But that's not the whole story. That's not everyone. What about the person who isn't overwhelmed by the noise, but by the fear? This is a second and profoundly different. Why? It's not introversion, it's anxiety. This is the person who avoids the party because of a fear of negative evaluation. Their internal monologue isn't, "This is too loud." It is, "Everyone is looking at me. Everyone here seems so successful. What if they ask what I do? I feel so behind. I'm going to say something stupid, and they will all laugh at me or reject me." They are not antisocial. They are afraid. They may feel inferior or less proud of where they are in life. So the "what do you do?" question isn't small talk. It's a moment of judgment. The document calls this a vicious cycle. A person starts avoiding parties. Because of this, they fail to practice the social skills for that specific environment. Then, years later, when they have to go to an event, they feel unpracticed, which creates a new, secondary anxiety. They must untangle the knot. Did I start avoiding parties because I feared judgment? Or because they were simply draining? And then there's the third, and perhaps most common reason. It's not overstimulation, it's not anxiety, it's maturity. It's a profound impatience with inauthenticity. This is the person who has simply outgrown the performance. They see small talk for what it is, a performative script. As the philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer said, to be oneself and of oneself is the greatest service we can render humanity. But a party often demands the opposite. It demands impression management and self-monitoring. This person isn't bad at small talk. They rationally identify it as a bankrupt social transaction. It's a high-energy performance that yields a zero reward. No real connection is formed. No real information is exchanged. It's just static. Their aversion isn't arrogance. It's a profound impatience with inauthenticity. They are protecting their most valuable resource, their energy. So whether it's their sensitive wiring, their fear of judgment, or their simple refusal to be inauthentic. They avoid the party. But this brings us back to the pull, the craving. Why is their need for real connection so intense? Because this craving is not a personal quirk. The research is clear. It is one of the most fundamental and well-documented motivations in human psychology. In 1995, researchers proved we all have a need to belong. But, and this is the key, they defined exactly what this need is. It is not a need for a large quantity of connections. It is not a need for high follower counts or being a social butterfly. The fundamental human need is for a few stable, long-term, and positive interpersonal relationships. The deep craver, the person who rejects the breadth of a party to pursue the depth of a few bonds, is not the outlier. They are the archetype. They are the ones most accurately expressing this fundamental human drive. Decades of happiness research back this up. The quality of social ties, not the quantity, is the strongest and most reliable predictor of well-being. They are, as the document puts it, like a gourmet chef who hates fast food. It's not arrogance, it's a calibrated palate. Their brain isn't seeking the cheap, fleeting dopamine hit of a new like or a superficial compliment. Their brain is wired to seek oxytocin, the bond hormone. Oxytocin isn't released by small talk. It's triggered by mutual vulnerability and empathy. It's that all is right with the world feeling of being truly seen. So, if that's the goal, how is it achieved? It's not random. There's a formula. In a landmark 1997 study by Dr. Arthur Aaron, strangers were brought into a lab. They were given 36 questions that became progressively more personal and self-disclosing. In just 45 minutes, they reported a level of closeness that rivaled lifelong friendships. The formula for connection is structure plus escalating vulnerability plus reciprocity. Now, think about a party. A party is, by design, unstructured, low vulnerability, and non-reciprocal. The deep craver intuitively knows this. They are rejecting environments that make the proven mechanisms of connection impossible. So, the paradox is gone. It's a perfect logical causal chain. This person is not a social failure. They are a specialist socializer. They have a depth model of social skill, not a breadth model. The party hater and the deep craver are one and the same. They hate parties because they crave connection so deeply. So, what can this person do? The goal is to stop fighting their nature and start curating their life. They must honor their social operating system. First, they must change their environment, not themselves. Stop being a passive attendee and become an active world builder. How? 1. The host move. Instead of suffering at a 100-person party, host a 6-person dinner party. Control the environment, the lights, the music, and the guest list. 2. The conversion script. Stuck at an obligatory party? Find one interesting person and say, "I am so glad I ran into you, but this is all a bit loud for me. I'd love to actually hear about your project. Are you free for coffee next week?" This tags the connection and moves it to a better environment. 3. Find their social niche. Stop going to social events and start going to interest events. A book club, a D&D group, a hiking club, a volunteer organization. These places are naturally structured. They remove the pressure of small talk and let bonds form organically. But a crucial note, if the why is that deep anxiety, the path is different. It's not just about changing the environment. It may be about seeking understanding, perhaps through therapy or gradual exposure, to untangle that vicious cycle of avoidance. For the rest of us, for the friends and loved ones of a deep craver, when they leave your party early, it's not a rejection. It means their nervous system is overwhelmed or their battery is empty. When they say no to a group, hang, it doesn't mean, "I don't want to see you." It means, "I want to see you so badly that I don't want to share you with 10 other people." Don't pressure them. Instead, invite them for a one-on-one walk. Send them a thoughtful text. These specialists, these deep cravers, are a gift. In a world that is increasingly loud, fast, and superficial, a world that celebrates breadth, they have maintained a specialist focus on depth. Their aversion to the superficial is the hallmark of their unwavering commitment to the profound.